लितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदं सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Do you want me to do the Sanskrit and then
the word? Yes, yes. We are reading the Canto 2, Chapter 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is the scheduled incarnations, and the text for today is text 46. Thank you very much, Mataji, for making yourself available and giving your precious time.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Humble obeisances and downwards from everybody who have joined the group and are about to join, or will be seeing it in the recording.
Thank you. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
So, text 46. Devai vidanti atitaranti cha devamayam Sri Sudrahuna Sabara Papa Jivaha Yadi Adbhuta Krama Parayana Shila Sikshas Tirya Jana Apikim Usuta Dharaniye. Surrendered souls, even from groups leading sinful lives, such as women, the laborer class, the mountaineers, and the Siberians, or even the birds and beasts, can also know about the science of Godhead and become liberated from the clutches of the illusory energy by surrendering unto the pure devotees of the Lord and by following in their footsteps in devotional service. Somebody would like to read the purport?
I can read the purport, Mataji. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sometimes there are inquiries as to how one can surrender unto the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 18.66, the Lord asked Arjuna to surrender unto him, and therefore persons willing to do questions where God is and to whom they should surrender. The answer to such questions or inquiries is given herein very properly. The personality of Godhead may not be present before one's eyes, but if one is sincere in wanting such guidance, the Lord will send the bona fide persons who can guide one properly back home, back to Godhead. There is no need of material qualifications for making progress on the path of spiritual realization. In the material world, when one accepts some particular type of service, he is required to possess some particular type of qualifications also. Without this, one is unfit for such service. But in the devotional service of the Lord, the only qualification required is surrender. Surrendering oneself is in one's own hand. If one likes, he can surrender immediately without delay, and that begins his spiritual life. The bona fide representatives of the Lord is as good as God himself, or in other words, the loving representatives of the Lord is more kind and more easy to approach. A sinful soul cannot approach the Lord directly, but such a sinful man can very easily approach a pure devotee of the Lord. And if one agrees to put himself under the guidance of such a devotee of the Lord, he can also understand the science of God and also become like the transcendental pure devotee of the Lord, and thus gets his liberation back to Godhead, back home for eternal happiness. So, realization of the science of Godhead and relief from the unnecessary, endless struggle for existence are not as difficult for the willing candidate, but they are very difficult for persons who are not surrendered soul, but only simple, profitless speculators. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Mataji.
Thank you. Again, thank you very much for having me here. Much appreciated. Samukam karote vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripata vande paramananda madhavanam. So, based on the translation, Srila Prabhupada says that surrendered soul, it's not surrendered souls, yes. Surrendered souls even from groups leading sinful lives, such as women. So this point sometimes in Srila Prabhupada's books becomes a bit controversial, like why do the Vedic scriptures put down women, or especially nowadays where you have to be so politically correct, you have to be so careful. But so women Sudras, lower class, considered sinful because women symbolize the highest enjoying principle, which is sex life in this material world. The whole world revolves around sex life. And we can see modern development is more and more geared towards this attraction. Even modern advertising, if you look at the billboards and you look at the advertisements, is all based around this energy, this attraction. No matter what they're advertising, they could be advertising tires, and they'll put a half naked woman there because they know this attraction, this energy sells. So we can see clearly that women symbolize this, and hence these are the terms used in Vedic scriptures. But our good fortune is that Srila Prabhupada had the capacity, the vision to kind of like look beyond this, look beyond the material differences, and Srila Prabhupada had the capacity to completely empower the women in the movement. It was just so wonderful how he even went, he changed culture. He changed culture. In India, women staying in the ashram was unheard of. But Srila Prabhupada introduced that, especially in the West, because he knew, especially in the earlier days, if women were going to take to Krishna consciousness, this facility was going to have to be provided to them. Srila Prabhupada introduced the initiation of women, first and second. Again, in Vedic culture, in Vedic India, it was unheard of. Women just served their husbands who took initiation. Women did not directly get initiation. But Srila Prabhupada just looked beyond everything, and he empowered women. Yes, he gave Diksha first, second, he empowered. Go preach, he looked beyond. And we're just so fortunate that we came under the shelter of somebody like Srila Prabhupada who could shape history, who took this and he changed it around completely, but in such a pure way, So yeah, so this is the first thing that came to my mind, that how fortunate we are as women in this movement, where we have, you know, equal empowerment as men do. There's no discrimination. You know? And another point came to my mind is that we have to understand also deeply that empowering women, you know, women empowerment doesn't mean competing with men. For women to be empowered, we don't need to be in competition with men. But in the modern society, this is what women empowerment practically means: competing with men. Yeah, we can do whatever men can do. Why not? In fact, we'll try and do it better. So you spend most of your life, all your energy is just into like whatever men can do, we can do. But why do we need to? Why do we need to? Why can't women just be women and men be men? Men can't get pregnant and have children, but we don't see them, you know, going around making noise about that. It is just an accepted fact that women and men have psychophysical differences. Our natures are different, our hormones are different, our roles are different. But within the boundaries of who we can be completely empowered in Krishna consciousness. There is no restriction as such. So I thought that was just an important point to make, that we have full empowerment in Krishna consciousness, and empowerment just doesn't mean that we have to compete with men. We do not. We can be women and be completely empowered in our roles as women. And then Prabhupada said the labor class, the mountaineers, the Siberians. So this is just showing that spiritual life, Krishna consciousness specifically, is for everyone, despite what background we may be coming from. It is accessible to everyone, not just the brahmanas. And then Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that if one is sincere in wanting such guidance, the Lord will send a bona fide person who can guide one properly back home, back to Godhead. So if we are sincerely searching for help and guidance in spiritual life, and if we are sincerely searching for the right spiritual process, Krishna will send a bona fide spiritual master. Krishna will send bona fide guidance. How he does it, when he does it, that is up to him. But our role is just to sincerely desire real and genuine guidance, and real process that will actually free us from the cycle of birth and death and take us back to Godhead where we belong. And Srila Prabhupada says that there is no need of any material qualifications for making progress on the path of spiritual realization. In material life, we need qualification. Imagine if some, random guy from the street, or if anybody unqualified says, all right, I'm going to do a surgery today. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. We have our qualifications, we have our skills, and that's what we employ. But in spiritual life, there's no need of material qualifications. You don't have to be highly educated. You don't need to be of a particular caste, a particular color, a particular creed. You don't have to be in a particular material position or situation or a particular social position. No, none of these things are required for spiritual life. It doesn't matter who you are, in what situation, in what position. Krishna is happy simply if you offer with love and devotion water and a tulsi leaf. Krishna is satisfied. However, if you do have some professional skills, if you do have some education, if you do have wealth, yes, by all means, Srila Prabhupada has taught us how to dovetail that in Krishna consciousness. the yoga ladder, so karma yoga, how to use everything we have in Krishna's service, and that purifies us. And Srila Prabhupada goes on to say the only real qualification required is surrender. And one very important point that Srila Prabhupada makes is that surrender is entirely up to us. This is probably one of the most important sentences in this purport, is that we have to understand that surrender is entirely up to us. Nobody is withholding, nobody can stop us, nobody can be an obstacle. If we desire surrender, it can happen in a minute. So, and that's what Srila Prabhupada goes on to say, that if one likes, he can surrender immediately without delay, and that begins his spiritual life. So elsewhere, Srila Prabhupada, I think this was a letter. Srila Prabhupada says the devotional service is not a material process. So surrender is not a material process. It is spiritual. It involves no impediments of material conditioning. So surrender, bhakti, no material thing or situation can become an impediment in our path for bhakti. It develops in proportion to one's seriousness. We can attain the whole thing in 1 second. If we sincerely take Krishna consciousness, we have it. So this, of course, brings to mind the example given in the Shastra of Maharaj Khatwanga. Maharaj Khatwanga, I don't remember the whole complete pastime, but Maharaj Khatwanga had assisted the demigods, and the demigods were very pleased with him. So they asked him, what would you want? Ask for anything you would like in return to your assistance. And Maharaj Khatwanga said, I just want to know one thing. I just want to know how much time I have left. And the demigod said, you don't have much time. You just have a few moments left. And at once, he transferred his thoughts to Krishna, and he became completely Krishna conscious. And he just, within a few moments, he completely surrendered. And the result was that he went back to Godhead. So this is just a proof of what Srila Prabhupada is saying. One, surrender is entirely up to us. And it takes a moment. And it's there, it's ours. However, Srila Prabhupada also says that we should not become complacent, thinking like Maharaj Khatwanga, the last moment, I will make sure I go to Vrindavan and I leave my body. Or at the last moment, I'll think of Krishna. No, that doesn't work. That will not work. We cannot cheat Krishna. Krishna is the biggest cheater. He'll cheat us. Rather, a better way of looking at this is that we can work towards making every moment that we live a Khatwanga moment. It is up to us. Every moment we can surrender to Krishna. Every situation, we can see this as an opportunity. Okay, this is a situation. How do I surrender to Krishna? What is Krishna wanting from me in this situation? So every moment can be a Khatwanga moment for us. At least we can desire to. At least we can work towards it. So then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada goes on to say that the bona fide representative of God is as good as God himself. So in the Mangal Art, the bhajan that we sing during Mangal Arti, one of the stanzas, the verses is Sakshad Dharitvena, Sakshad Dharitvena Samasta Shastra. So the spiritual master is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord, because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master, who is a bona fide representative of Sri Hari. So again, that verse that I cited last week, just find a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service to him. He will reveal the truth because he has seen the truth. So our process in Krishna consciousness is surrendering to a spiritual master, because it is much easier to serve and please a spiritual master than it is to serve and please Krishna. It is not that easy. We do not go directly to Krishna. We serve Krishna through the transparent via medium of the spiritual master. That is our process. It's a lineage. It's a parampara. It's a sampradaya, and we follow the parampara, one guru after another. So we don't approach Krishna directly. We don't have the capacity. We don't have the purity. We don't have the love. We're not there. We do not go directly. We go through the spiritual master. Whatever we offer to Krishna, we offer it to Krishna through the spiritual master. The spiritual masters, they have the purity. They have the love. They can take our offering and offer it to Krishna and Radharani, and they will accept it. So I remember one time Radhanath Swami, he was giving class, and he made this point: even when we are making an offering, like when you're offering bhoga to the Lord in our altars at home or in the temple, we do not offer it directly to Krishna. We go through the parampara, and we ask the parampara to offer this bhoga to Krishna on our behalf. Then there are better chances of Krishna and Radharani accepting that bhoga. So this is our process. Our process is going through the Guru Parampara. And another example that came to mind was Bali Maharaj. How Bali Maharaj just surrendered everything. Krishna tricked him. First he asked for only 3 paces, 3 footsteps of land. And Bali Maharaj was, how is this going to be enough? And Krishna says, if three footsteps or 3 paces or 3 feet or whatever, if land is not enough for one person, then no amount of land or no amount of material things is ever going to be enough. And Bali Maharaj accepted, and then we know with 1 foot he covered a certain amount. I don't remember the exact details. And then with the 2nd foot step, he covered everything, and then he didn't have anywhere to keep his 3rd step. And Bali Maharaj offered himself, despite the fact that his his spiritual master asked him not to do that. But Bali Maharaj just surrendered everything and surrendered himself. And so yes, when we're not there, it takes time. It could take a lifetime, it could take 20 lifetimes, it could take 200 lifetimes. But what does it matter? We are on the path. We are on the path, and we're progressive. As long as we stay on the path, and staying on the path means as long as we always remain in the association of devotees. That is principle, that is fundamental, that is a constant prayer. We're encouraged to pray all the time that no matter what happens, my Lord, please always keep me in the association of your devotees. Why? Because it is in the association of the devotees that we will be inspired and motivated to chant and read. No matter how low we are feeling ourselves, just by being in the association of devotees will be uplifted. So hearing, chanting, remembering, if we cannot do it on our own in isolation, if we think we can do this, we're completely mistaken. So yes, this part of the surrender, part of the process is is always remaining in the association of devotees. And then whenever surrender or Sharanagati is, of course, we remember Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He is completely the Acharya for surrender. He's composed so many bhajans on Sharanagati, surrender. Beautiful, beautiful bhajans. And they're all online. I can even post the link. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bhakti Swami actually systemized his bhajans so nicely. They're just all step by step. The first stage of surrender, the second stage of surrender, the third stage of surrender. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful bhajans Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote. If you just read the meanings, and step by step, absolutely wonderful. So the songs of Sharanagati. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that the way of surrender of the steps of surrender are following. First is humility. And according to his bhajans, my understanding is humility is just feeling that we are nowhere spiritually. We are sinful. We are short-lived. We are disturbed. We have material desires. So that's my understanding of when I read the meanings to his bhajans on humility. This is what he's saying, that I'm fallen, I'm full of material desires. That's the first step. Actually having a reality check about yourself. Where are you honestly? Where are you really at, with your material desires, with your anarthas, with the lust, with the anger, with the greed, with the attachment, with the illusion, and then just being real about it, and just taking it to Krishna, that this is where I'm at. So this is the first step, humility. And then the second step for surrender, Sharanagati, is dedication of the self. Slowly, gradually, we follow the process. And more we dedicate ourselves, more and more we dedicate our lives to the service of Krishna. Then the third step is accepting the Lord as one's only maintainer. And nobody else and nothing else. Accepting the Lord as one's only maintainer, not our bank balance, not our savings, not our home, not our car, not our spouse, not our children, not our friends, and so many other things that we take shelter of, that we try and get our security from, that we try and depend on a daily basis. And again, it's a gradual process. We may not be able to give it up all at once, like Maharaj Khatwanga, but that's fine. That's fine. At least as long as we know the goal is that this is where I want to get eventually, that I'm depending on nobody. I'm not depending on anybody. I'm not depending on any situation. I'm not depending on my bank balance for my security. I'm only depending on the Lord for my maintenance, 100%. That's the third. And then the fourth step, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that having full faith that Krishna will protect. No matter what the situation is, that Krishna will completely protect me. And the perfect example is, of course, Prahlad Maharaj. How many times, how many different ways Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him, But Prahlad Maharaj, he just kept chanting the holy names of the Lord. And he didn't even ask Krishna for protection. No. because he was so surrendered that if Krishna wants to protect me, he will protect me. If Krishna doesn't want to protect me, he will, then it's fine, you know. Mare Krishna Rakhe ke, Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. If Krishna wants to protect us, who can kill us? And if Krishna wants to kill us, who can protect us? So many different. We know that, you know, he was poisoned, he was thrown off a cliff, he was thrown in a pit of snakes, an elephant tried to crush him. So many different ways, but no, what Prahlad Maharaj just kept chanting because his faith, his complete surrender was on the holy name. He had complete faith that Krishna will protect him if that is what Krishna wants. And if Krishna doesn't want to protect him, that's fine as well. And then the fifth point, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the fifth step is execution of only those acts that are favorable to pure devotion. Srila Rupa Goswami in his book Nectar of Instruction gives the same, he actually expounds on that, and he gives the 6 activities that are favorable in devotional service, which is, one second. Yes. So this is Nectar of Instruction, text 3. Utsaha nischaya dhaira, no, Utsaha nischayat dhairat tat karma pravartanat sanga tyagat satovrite sadbhir bhakti prasiddhyati. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. 1, being enthusiastic. 2, endeavoring with confidence. 3, being patient. 4, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, that is hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. And then the next verse is also, okay. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So again, I'll just repeat. The first is humility, feeling fallen and knowing exactly where you're at. Then the second is dedication of the self. Gradually, we dedicate more and more of our time, our wealth, our abilities, and then ourselves to the process of Krishna consciousness. Then accepting the Lord as one's only maintainer. Then faith that Krishna will surely protect me. And then execution of only those acts favorable to pure devotion. And also I'll just repeat them one more time again. Srila Rupa Goswami, the 6 principles are being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, first being enthusiastic and being confident, and then being patient. Acting according to regulative principles, following the 4 regulative principles, and then hearing and chanting and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non-devotees. We have to be very careful about this. Most of us, if we're working then to a certain degree, we have to associate with the outside world, maybe even for a number of hours in the day, you know. So then we have to make sure that we're balancing it off with associating with devotees very strictly, following the 4 regulative principles very strictly, making sure that we're reading, making sure that we're hearing, thousands and thousands of lectures, hundreds of thousands of lectures, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. We have so many wonderful examples of acharyas in our lineage, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada. There's no shortage of who we can follow There's such nice examples that we have to follow. And then the last point Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes is renunciation of conduct adverse to pure devotion. And I think there's a verse in connection with this also. Let me see, in the Nectar of Instruction. Maybe not. Yes. Yeah, there is. Mhm. Okay, yes. So text 2, Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction explains Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyam agraha jana sangascha lolyam cha sadbhir bhaktir vinashyate. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than necessary, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Christian consciousness, and being greedy for mundane achievements. So we know eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than necessary, we then becomes very difficult to focus on Christian consciousness, becomes very difficult to focus on our goal. Eating too much means we'll definitely sleep too much. Over endeavoring means practically materially we have to come to a point where we are satisfied and content with our material situation. It may not be the best, but just being satisfied and understanding that material improvement and material progress is not the goal of our lives. It's not going to make us happy. So just being content and just accepting that as, okay, this is enough. I don't have to over endeavor. According to our karma, we're going to get what is ordained for us. There's a saying, even in English, that what is meant for us is never going to pass us, So understanding that whatever material opulence or lack of is really just according to our karma. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, this is especially very important when we're with devotees. Associating with devotees doesn't mean that we're just in the presence of the devotees and we can talk any nonsense or start gossiping, which really, really happens so easily. We always have a lot to say about, the temple situation, and did you see how the prasadam was so dry or so spicy or so chilly, or there wasn't enough, or this was, or oh, did you see that devotee? Da da da. What is she wearing? What did she say? Or da da. We have to be very, very, very careful. Very careful. How we are associating with devotees. Association of devotee means that we are discussing Krishna, that we are discussing preaching, that we are discussing devotee care, that these are the topics that we're discussing. Practicing rules and regulations only for the sake of not knowing the end goal, which is always to remember Krishna and never ever to forget him. And that's the only reason why we have these rules and regulations, to keep us in the mode of goodness and help us transcend the mode of goodness. So to make it easier to remember Krishna. There is no other reason for these rules and regulations, And then also, or taking them too lightly. Or it's all right, I can have a cup of coffee, I can have a cup of tea. No, you cannot, not once you're initiated, If you're not initiated, that is something different. But Shivram Swami said that we have a habit of flirting with the principles, just kind of like on the periphery, on the boundary, kind of like we always want to test our boundaries. We always see what we can get away with. So no, becoming just more and more sincere, not being reckless about the principles, not being complacent with the principles. Yeah, or not being independent, not being whimsical is very important. It is very important. And I'd like to just point out here that, the will my Guru Maharaj left, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and one of the points he mentioned that he's never taken a step outside of ISKCON, and second, he's never made a decision outside of the GBC. He's always consulted with the GBC. And I always saw that about him, even if it was a small, always consulted with the GBC. So what to speak of us, what to speak of us? We've just so we're here kind of, as at least I am struggling with my spiritual life, and if I start acting independently and whimsically, how far is that going to get me? Not very far. And then, as like I mentioned, we need to be very conscious of our association. Like I said, maybe for work, we may have to do it. Maybe other members in our family are not Krishna conscious, and what to do. Their family will love them. But then, on the other hand, to bring it to scale, to balance it off, we need to make sure then that our association with devotees is very strong. Our sadhana is strong. We focus on our chanting, on our reading, and that will help balance things off. So these are the 6 steps that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given us for Sharanagati. Very nice. And one of the meanings to one of the songs, I don't have the song here with me, but I just like these meanings, and they're so simple, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur puts it so nicely. One of the youthful son of Nanda Maharaj, Shri Krishna, hears the prayers of anyone who takes refuge in him by this 6-fold practice. So this is so amazing. When we try and implement these 6 steps, then Krishna, he will hear our prayers. It is just so amazing. These 6 steps, they're actually not that difficult. Srila Prabhupada has given us the facility to do it. He's given us temples, he's given us association, he's given us prashad, he's given us the philosophy, he's given us the holy name. But by endeavoring to implement the 6 steps, Krishna will actually hear our prayers. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, he says, in one of the purports, says Bhaktivinoda places a straw between his teeth, prostrates himself before the Goswamis, Srila Rupa Goswami and Sri Sanatan Goswami, and clasps their lotus feet with his hands. And he says, I'm certainly the lowest of men, he tells them weeping, but please make me the best of men by teaching me the ways of Sharanagati. Beautiful, beautiful verses, beautiful meaning. So I'd like to end this class at just again, if I may, just quote His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in his will. He said, I own nothing, I have no money, I have no bank account, I have no bank balance, I have no property in my name, I've never stepped outside of ISKCON, I've never done anything without ISKCON GBC approval. 2 examples come to mind. He had a couple. a couple, disciple that lived in Vrindavan, and they built a house, and they built a big house with a huge room for Guru Maharaj, all the facilities and everything. And this is probably going back about 25 years ago. And Guru Maharaj didn't even sleep there one night. And Guru Maharaj told him that, no, Srila Prabhupada has given me a room in the guest house, and I'm happy there, you know. And later on, I think his disciples wanted to donate a piece of land in Vrindavan and build a house for him, and Guru Maharaj completely refused. And also in his will, he said that land, the GBC can decide what they want to do with that land. So, you know, so it's just very recent he's left us, but so exemplary, how, where his consciousness was, how surrendered he was, so practical, you know, so practical. And I'm nowhere there where I can give up my bank account, where I can, you know, give up my property. And it's for Grihastha that at our stage is not even really required. That would be artificial. That would be artificial renunciation. We cannot imitate these personalities, but we can pray to follow in their footsteps and one day get there, one lifetime be that surrendered. That we can do. So yes, I'd like to end here. I'll just read the translation again. Surrendered souls, even from groups leading sinful lives, such as women, the laborer class, the mountaineers, and the Siberians, or even the birds and beasts, can also know about the science of Godhead and become liberated from the clutches of the illusory energy by surrendering unto the pure devotees of the Lord and by following the footsteps in devotional service. So I'll end here. If there are any questions, any comments, any corrections.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for taking us through the various steps of surrendering today, and much required. And thank you for this excellent class. Mataji, I missed out on the point where you said that, okay, so you have started the process of Krishna consciousness and you are slowly surrendering, but you are in a family where they are not Krishna conscious. So what advice did you give? I mean, did you say that we should read more or?
Yeah, so, you know, we love our family. There is a certain amount of attachment, and attachment is not necessarily bad as long as it's a healthy amount of attachment. So yes, so instead of negatively focusing like, oh, my family members are not Krishna conscious, I'm doomed. No, positively focus on your Krishna consciousness, you know. Um, make sure your chanting is really good quality. Whatever time you can put into reading, make sure it's focused, it's attentive. It's just a question of sincerity, you know. Like Srila Prabhupada said, there are no impediments to bhakti. There really isn't. Whether your family members are Krishna conscious or not, it is just your sincerity. And if your family situation is taking up a lot of time, that's fine. With whatever time you have, make it just concentrated. Make it concentrated, make it attentive, make it focused, and then pray and pray and pray that this is your situation. And then Krishna will come in. Krishna will come in, and he can make the change so beautifully. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I remember I started going to the temple when I was just 16 years old. And Manasi Ganga and her mother at that time completely took me under her wings. And after that, after being under Manasi Ganga's shelter, there's no turning back. And so very quickly, I used to come home and say, okay, I'm not going to eat onion and garlic anymore. And then after a few weeks, I was like, okay, I'm not having tea and coffee anymore. And my father just flipped out, he got really worried. The 16-year-old girl is giving up this. And he got so worried about my education. And he was like, you're going to have to get married. And then they stopped me from going to the temple. I wasn't allowed to chant. It was such a drama, but just now, somehow the 100% freedom, 100% freedom. Like they go to Vrindavan, whatever. They have finally just accepted, or just like, okay, there is no turning back. We cannot stop her. Fine, let us just give her the freedom. And I'm still very close to them. I still love them. I still meet them. We're very close because we all live on the farm. So that connection is quite close, but see how Krishna just intervenes, and he just kind of like makes everything right. So just patience, you enthusiastically endeavor and be patient, and then just let Krishna do everything. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mataji,
If that
for
helps.
Yes, thank you so much. It helps because you are a real person and we know you at least through Zoom, most of us, and we can see your example. So yes,
Mhm.
definitely, it definitely helps. Thank you so much. Are there
Since I
any other?
just one more thing, I remember Manisiganga Mataji's mother, Tulsi Priya, when she was married, and she started chanting and everything, and then the husband got so, I think, insecure that she'd leave home, and he stopped her from everything. Tulsi Priya Mataji, she used to chant her rounds under her duvet or under her blanket. That's how she used to chant her rounds. And then time came, she got a chance, and truly she left home and she joined the temple. But yeah, so Krishna just makes it happen. It doesn't have to be that drastic. It's more, but you just by your example, by when you can show people how the chanting and the process is making you happy, is making you a better person, then I think you can even melt the hearts of people around you. Example is the best preaching. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Any other questions or comments from today's class? A lot of good points that was covered today on the process of Sharnagrati. It's not a process. I think all the 6 principles can be followed simultaneously. It's not one
Yes.
after another.
In the sense that the feeling of humility comes first, and then with the process, then you start feeling, more surrendered to Krishna. You feel that Krishna is your protector. And yes, of course, the others, the steps to avoid and the steps to take, avoiding the association of non-devotees. Yes, that is there from the very beginning. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification, Mataji. Any questions or comments from the group?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prashanatma
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare
Then
Krishna.
with to the assembled devotees, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank
Please
you for the
accept
wonderful
mine.
class. Haribol,
Hare
most
Krishna.
inspired. All glories to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj.
Yes.
Such a wonderful personality. Thank you so much. I just wanted to mention, I also heard from my guru also that about humility. Just to add on that, humility means the best way to get to be humble is by being humiliated. Humility means being humiliated.
Okay.
That really rang in my mind because now you just wait, you just try to be low. Anytime you get embarrassed or anytime you get chastised, it's the best thing for us. So just try to learn from that. So yes,
Yeah, makes
thank you so much.
sense. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy to because your ego just like, when you're being humiliated, your ego just takes over, isn't it? And to actually have the being able to put the ego aside and actually feel the humiliation and then feel apologetic. Well, yeah, that I hope it comes with practice.
Yes, takes up.
Yeah, because I know my ego just, what the things that go through your mind at that point. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna.
For sure, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at least we are on that path and we can
Yes.
now understand that, okay, this is my ego. First, when anybody would humiliate you, you would just be angry, you'll flare up, you'll throw things at that person. But now, because we are on this path and we have the understanding, when they humiliate us, we say, okay, uh, maybe there is something that I'm doing wrong. I mean, you come to that place where you can introspect and say, why did this person say such a thing? I mean, I know my thing is the best, but maybe this other angle is makes more sense, and then uh, so
Yes.
I think it's a gradual process, maybe for people like
Yes.
us. We are not there like Atwanga, but
Yes.
maybe it's a gradual process. Now at least we are able to understand.
Yeah. Another point, like when the incident happens, at that point, immediately we may not be able to think like that. But as we grow in Krishna consciousness, at least when we go back home or after a few hours, after a few minutes, or even after a few days, when everything is a bit pacified, we will sit down and think like, okay, maybe that person did have a point. Maybe I did do this wrongly. Maybe I was disrespectful. So that is nice. Only it needs to happen sooner and sooner and sooner. Yes, yes.
Mm.
Somebody
Okay.
has written a comment, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Just
Go on.
to add, yes, Mataji, this is very true. I also heard from Dr. Tirtha Swami, maybe just to generalize all the faults or all incidences that may take place. I had the quote that he said we should see all faults as rather all situation or all bad situations as our own fault first. Like
Mm,
anything happens, if there's any quarrel or anything, if we see it as our own fault first, then maybe it's how we come from a better place, how to deal with it, then it
yeah, true.
becomes easier.
Even Srila Prabhupada says something that when two devotees quarrel, it's practically we should see it as lack of my Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for making that point. There's somebody who's Chani Pandit. If people accept you as Krishna conscious too late, you can feel your progress in Krishna consciousness delays. Sometimes you wish they accept earlier. How do you not let people affect your determination on the path on Krishna consciousness? As many times the people you are
Hare Krishna, I think we have lost Mataji. Let's wait for her to return back. But if Chandni, if you can read, because I can't read your message on the
sorry. I think um I'll just switch off the video because it's a bit damaged, my camera.
okay.
You can read the question, please.
Mataji, it is directed only to you, so we can't read it.
Oh, okay. Because my laptop just died. So basically,
Chandni
how
Mataji can read. Chandni Mataji, can you read the question, because Mataji can't access it?
Okay, my question is, if people like society and family accept you as Krishna conscious too late, you can feel personally that your progress in Krishna consciousness has delayed, and sometimes you wish because of that they can accept it earlier. So how do you not let people affect your determination on the path of Krishna consciousness? As many times the people around you can motivate more or less to get more on that path or less on that path.
Yeah, it can be a bit tricky. It is tricky. But you also have to understand that progress in spiritual life is not linear. We used to, when we say progress in the material world, we used to, something being linear means you're going up and up in a straight line. Progress in Krishna consciousness is not linear. Progress in Krishna consciousness is a question of the heart. So one is, like I said, whatever time you do have to practice within that situation, make it very sincere, very solid, very concentrated, and very sincere. And to prayer helps, praying to Krishna for strength, for understanding yourself, for you to be able to embrace your situation, and understanding that this is a test from Krishna. How are you going to handle it? And as far as motivation, inspiration, determination, all this, like I said, you find a way, one way or another, of associating with devotees. And like I said, online, there's hundreds of thousands of lectures. But also important to listen to Srila Prabhupada's lectures, very important. So it's difficult to say anything more unless there's a specific explanation, and which is outside, which is not within the thing of this class. But sincerity, just sincerity, prayers. If you're not feeling enthusiastic, if you're not feeling determined, you're losing motivation because of people around you, pray, pray, and pray, and pray. And there will be moments. I think there are moments in every devotee's life, even if we have all the freedom, we have all the association. Even devotees who are living in the temple, they go through their ups and downs. They lose motivation, they lose inspiration, they lose enthusiasm. It will happen. Many devotees stray off. Many devotees, it happens. This is life. But somehow just staying in the process. You may fall back from 16 rounds to 2 rounds. Fine. Do those 2 rounds. It's okay. Everything is temporary. This moment of lack of inspiration, it will go, and you will find inspiration. Somehow, if you're sincere, Krishna will give you that inspiration. And that's only truly been my experience. I joined when I was 16. I went through life and I went through my spiritual ups and downs. But one constant prayer I had, no matter what, Krishna, please always keep me in the association of devotees and let me serve. And somehow, Krishna has always kept me in the association of devotees, and you cannot go wrong. So I don't know if that helps at all.
Thank you, Mataji. That helps a lot.
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? We have exhausted our time. Can I request Prashanatma Prabhu, is it possible for you to end the session for today? Hare Krishna. Okay, maybe the internet is not conducive for Prabhuji, I can end the session. Thank you so much. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji, I had to go. My phone usually goes a bit slow, but thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can you please end the session for today, Hare Krishna?
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. I just commented on the chat. The class was very simple, easy to understand, straightforward. So thank you so much for making the points clear on how to better our lives in Krishna consciousness. Thank you for inspiring us to make our spiritual life.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm always very grateful for this opportunity, honestly. This preparing for this class is what keeps me going throughout the week. Believe it or not, I just absolutely love it. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And I just wanted to say to Chan, if there's anything specific you wanted to talk about or ask, you can always just connect with me. I think if you're in the group, my number is there. Just connect with me and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So much.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Because of time, I'd request all the devotees to please unmute and appreciate Mataji by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra in glorification. Please let's join. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare Hare.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Sarvasya
Sindhuvaya
eva cha.
Pitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavatam ki jai, Grace Ashwariya Lila Mataji ki jai.
Hare. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.